What's good YouTube? Today we're going to be going over 5 save classes for you guys to play in the new raid, Yggdrasil the Dream's Hope. Getting straight into it then, Warrior is going to be my first save pick going into the new raid in 10.2. Arms of Fury both bring very strong damage, especially where it matters most, the execute phase. Having classes that ramp up towards the end of a boss fight where players are dead or mechanics get harder is always incredibly valuable to progressing through the raid, and both Warrior specs do a great job of this. Not to mention how satisfying it is seeing warriors climb the DPS meters towards the end of the fight. Warriors surprisingly bring great utility to your raid group as well through buffs like Battle Shout, increasing attack power throughout your team, but most notably they bring Rallying Cry. Although nerfed, this ability alone is enough to bring at least one warrior to any team. Being able to grant your whole raid 10% health for any difficult phase you may encounter is up there with the best utility in the game. Warriors are also super tanky too, with self-sustain that Fury boasts and the absorbs that Arms gains through spamming Ignore Pain. Both specs also have a short cooldown magic damage reduction in Spell Reflection, and if in danger they can always drop into defensive stance to reduce all damage taken by 15%. Finally, I can't talk about Warrior and not mention the potential of the new legendary next season. Having 2 DPS specs that are able to equip the legendary puts the Warrior class in a very strong position going into the next raid. Now onto a more controversial pick, I'm going to recommend the Shaman as a reliable choice for raiding in Yggdrasil. Despite the class as a whole being the only class that now doesn't bring a raid buff, you do still bring a Wind Fury Totem as enhance. This is a great addition to any raid comp as you'll likely have a lot of melee next season due to the new legendary being introduced. This means that even if enhance isn't performing well itself, it still brings massive damage value to your team through their utility. That being said though, Enhance and Elemental both stand out as a very potent DPS, particularly in funnel scenarios. This makes it a very valuable option for delivering high priority damage to the boss, which is generally the ultimate objective in raid fights. The Shaman specs also bring a lot of value to your raid team through abilities like Ancestral Guidance to help with heavy incoming damage phases, Stoneskin Totem 2 for any incoming physical damage, and Windrush Totem to help your whole raid with mobility. Although they do lack in survivability, Astral Shift is a very strong defensive option, and also Reincarnation is an amazing passive to help with progressing fights. Not consuming a battle res means you can save it for more important roles like healers later on in the fight. My next safe pick for raiding in 10.2 is the Rogue. After the rework, Rogues are looking like a super safe pick as you have 3 specs to choose from that all excel in different areas. Assassination Rogues have a really strong single target coupled with a great execute profile. Outlaw shines in priority damage while cleaving on up to 8 mobs, and lastly, the new Subtlety excels in upfront burst damage that is amazing for damage out phases as well as mass AoE damage. This means a Rogue player can simply respec from boss to boss and perform incredibly well. Rogues in general are very strong defensively through countless abilities like Feint, Evasion, Cloak of Shadows, and Cheat Death for situations that would otherwise kill you, and these abilities make the Rogue great choices to handle solo mechanics too, which cements their spot in a raid. And furthermore, you will always need at least one Rogue in your raid due to their atrophic poison. Making all mobs they poison deal 3% less damage, which over the course of a fight is going to make a tremendous difference. Now, I don't think I can make a 5 save classes video without picking the Warlock. Warlock for raiding is always a very safe choice. Again, having a class with 3 different DPS specs puts you in a much safer position, especially when they all have different damage profiles. For any fights where stacked cleave is present, Demolock is going to be pumping the meters, though Demo can also definitely shine on single target encounters too. Affliction has its niche but super valuable damage profile in spread cleave. Aside from maybe the Boomkin, Affliction will dominate council fights where they are able to keep all of their dots active. And finally, Destro is one of the best classes in the game at 2 target cleave. It also has great single target potential as well as mass AoE as long as the mobs are grouped. The main reason for the Warlock being in this list though is their unique and really powerful utility. Healthstones are an absolute necessity when it comes to raiding, so you'll need at least one Warlock. Demonic Gateways are also immensely valuable to your team to maneuver around encounters, and I'd also like to give an honourable mention to their Summoning Stones, just overall increasing the efficiency of raid nights. Lastly, Locks have unmatched survivability. The class tree is packed from head to toe with powerful defensive tools that could easily be mistaken for a tank talent tree if you weren't any wiser. All of this combined makes them a vital pickup for any raid comp and a solid pick for raiding in 10.2. Our final safe pick for raiding in 10.2 is the Havoc Demon Hunter. Havoc is phenomenal in both single target and cleave scenarios, as they passively do great cleave damage without losing single target DPS. With their new tier set, their sustained cleave is incredible too through their Soul Scar debuff, as well as being able to shine on mass AoE through massive rage fire damage. It has amazing survivability through passive damage reduction talents and abilities like Blur and Netherwalk, and they also need much less healing than other classes due to their self-sustain from their leech, making your healer's life a lot easier. They bring Darkness, which can be a very impactful raid defensive cooldown, and to round out their kit, they contribute one of the strongest raid buffs in the game through Chaos Brand, which has insane value across your raid group, representing a truly massive amount of damage from just bringing a Havoc Demon Hunter. I just wanted to briefly mention the Hunter class as well. Hunters have finally been blessed with a raid buff. Hunter's Mark is now going to increase the target's damage taken by 5% from 100 to 80% health. Overall, this adds up to about a 1% damage increase for your raid over the course of a full fight, which is actually quite respectable. There are better raid buffs out there, but at least the Hunter is now bringing something other than just damage. Saying that, Hunters are looking super strong damage-wise going into the next raid, predominantly carried by Beast Mastery and Survival, though Marksmanship can definitely shine on single target and AoE burst with the recent reworks to their tier set. For me though, the Beast Mastery Hunter is the one to look out for, as its single target damage as well as mass AoE is up there with the best. That, coupled with the fact that they will naturally have higher uptime on their rotation due to being a fully mobile ranged, will mean they climb the meters even more, even if the sims say otherwise. Melee will have downtime on the boss due to movement, and range will have downtime while they move from mechanics. Meanwhile, the Beast Mastery Hunter will just blast the whole time. Hunters have gotten stronger defensively over the course of the expansion too, so they no longer need to be babied by the healers due to their 4 strong defensive cooldowns. Aspect of the Turtle is also a great and underrated addition to the raid, allowing the Hunter to solo soak some mechanics, reducing the outgoing raid damage, which your healers will love. So those are my 5 safe picks for raiding in Amir Drasil, the Dream's Hope. I did try and pick these classes not just based off their damage, as tuning would then impact these choices heavily, but instead I put emphasis on what they would bring to your raid through utility and defensives. Let me know if you do agree with these 5 safe choices, but if not, let me know what classes you'd replace. Leave a like while you're down there if you did enjoy the video, and subscribe to your boy, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.